Hey guys, welcome to the Hustle Mindset. This is my first official video, and I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, for being part of this first video. This hopefully long journey in documenting anything and everything we can do for financial freedom, for creating wealth, and let's just get right into the topic. So today's topic is about credit score and what you can do to actually increase your credit score exponentially, increase it by like 50 points, 20 points, even 100 points, depending on what you can do and how in need are you and how credit really affects you overall. So there's different ways that credit affects you, and I'm going to be breaking those down right now. So the first part that affects credit is actually payment history. So payment history affects it in a very large way. So the actual percent is 35% of your actual credit score. So let's say you had a credit score of 100. 35 of those points would be based on payment history. So this is very important. And the only way you can really fix things is, of course, paying things on time. So I believe the best way to increase this part of your credit score, which is the most important, is obviously try and put everything as much as you can on auto payments. So I know for a lot of people, especially me, I'm very forgetful of what actually goes into like my bills every month. So what I do is just put everything on auto payment. That way I don't have to stress about it ever again, you know. And you just write down on a piece of paper, on an Excel sheet, what your monthly bills are going to be, and then that way you can just remember it. You can write down the date as well of when you're paying it, and that way you can increase that part. Just paying your bills on time is very important. If you have late payments, try to fight them. Try to figure out how to remove them from your actual credit score. That way your credit can go up even faster. This is one of the most important ways, but there's actually like 3 or 4 other ways, so let me just go into them right now. Now the amounts owed is another 30%. So this just breaks down basically what debts you actually have under your name. So this can be car loans, home loans, any type of loans, any type of payments that you got to make on a monthly recurring basis. So let's say you have a car loan and you have 30K you got to pay off, and you have a remaining balance for like 4 or 5 years left. That will show up in your payment amount. If you want to increase this part, just try to pay off as much as you can. The best way, I believe, would be trying to get it down on the parts that have the highest interest. So let's say you have extra money lying around that you're not investing, that you have no need for, or like obviously you have money needs for, but you just want to put that into better use. Try to downsize all those amounts that you owe that have a higher interest rate. Focus on those. Those will bring you back more money over time. So that's the best way to handle those. Another part is length of credit history. So this is going to be the toughest one for young people because obviously you haven't had your credit for that long. But trying to get it to a great length where you have a lot of accounts that you have years with. So like let's say you have a credit card and you have 6 years with that credit card, or 6 years with that debit card, 6 years with that bank. So that's very important. Showing the stats from day to day to day, from month to month to month, and showing how you have been consistent with your payments, consistent with the type of accounts that you have, not closing them, how many accounts you have open. So this accounts for 15% of your credit score as well. I just want to get into why credit score really matters. So this can affect entrepreneurs and people who really want to pursue businesses in a big way. But it also affects day-to-day people as well. So the way it affects it is if you have a bad credit score, it can affect how you get interest rates for housing loans, car loans, or even like let's say you want to get a new phone. You might have to put a higher down payment down because of your credit score. So having a great credit score is very important. And really a great credit score comes in after the 700 range, and trying to reach that golden tier like around 720, 740, that's when you really start making your great money and you start really getting the best bang for your buck. Another way credit score might affect you is you might be denied for that rental that you've been looking into, and that rental property that like, oh my god, this is the one. This is the one that I need. Um, it might affect it because you might get denied just based on your credit alone. You might have all the qualifications, you have the great job, the great income, but since your credit score is so low, you might seem like a risk over others. Let's say somebody has a 700 credit score and you have like a 550. You are a way riskier investment to that person than if you had a better credit score. So that's something you really should be looking out for. Another thing that I found out was bad credit can affect employment. So if you're applying to a job and they run a background check on your credit score, which 40% of employers do, it can really affect it because you might get denied the job just based on your credit alone, which is ridiculous, but it happens. So just trying to figure out how you can increase your credit score so then, that might be like an edge over another applicant that you had no idea was part of, um, can be beneficial for you. Something that credit scores also affect is utilities. A lot of utility companies run credit scores to see if this person is a viable option to actually turn on their utilities. So let's say you just moved into a new house and you're getting the water done and they're installing the water and like actually turning it on. They might run a credit score on you. So then you gotta watch out for that. If you don't have a great credit, you might not get that water turned on. So that's something you should be careful with and into the future look into. And this one affects entrepreneurs the most, business loans. You might get a higher interest rate on that business loan for no reason, only solely based on your credit score. Ideally, like I said, over 740. But for those business loans, you got to keep an eye out on your credit score for sure. So long haul would be over the payment history, which is 35%. And like I said, those auto payments will come in clutch when you most need it. So just keep an eye out for opportunities to put stuff in auto payment. Recently, I signed up for Verizon for at home, and I decided to put it on auto payment so that way I don't have to stress about it, and then that just comes straight out of my bank account, and I don't even have to stress about it at all. Another way, which is a great way, is getting your credit utilization less than 30%. So if you have a credit card that you can max out at $5,000, or your total amount on all your credit cards you can max out as $5,000, try to keep that utilization under 30%. So keeping it under $1,500. That is the most crucial way you can actually increase your credit score exponentially ASAP. Um, Ideally less than that, but that's the golden rule. Anything more than that, you're really starting to affect your credit score in a negative way. Another way where credit utilization can be maximized is just increasing your credit limit on your credit cards. So this, I know a lot of people might be like, oh, this might be a negative, like, oh, I shouldn't be doing that. They told me not to do that. But that's a great way to offset credit utilization. Let's say you can't put more money towards paying your credit card bills in this moment, but you want to increase your credit score, right? A lot of the ways you can do it is for increasing your limits. So let's say you have a credit limit of 2,000 and you get an offer, or you apply for an offer, apply for 2,500 credit limit. So that way that offsets the credit utilization. So now it's 5,500 total that you have credit utilization now, or 2,500 or 3,000. An increase of 500 can make a huge difference and can offset the credit utilization 5%, 10%, you name it, depending on what your credit score is and what your credit utilization overall is as well. Another way is opening a new card. I know people are like, oh, whoa, I'm not trying to open a new card, but I'm not trying to sell anything. First of all, this is just a great way to increase your credit limit without having to use an old card that might not be approved. So this way you just get approved for a small $1,000 credit card you do not use. The best way, obviously, is to learn to be consistent with your payments, consistently not using these total credit limits that you have. So let's say you have a brand new card, just don't use it. Just put it on the side. The sole purpose was to increase your credit score. And just make sure you do that and don't use your card. A lot of the ways you can maximize this as well is, let's say you have two cards. One has $1,000 balance, one has $1,500 balance, and you want to get your credit utilization maximized. Start paying off the higher ratio card. Let's say it's $1,500, but the max is $2,000, and the other is $1,000, but the max is $2,000. Just start paying off that other one first. That way you can get your credit utilization down and credit score will go up as well, because based on that, you have also decreased the higher ratio on that one card. So if you do that, that will help point by point your ratio going up, and also your overall credit score will go up. A lot of things that I've seen is people paying off the total balance of your credit card every month per month in one shot at the end of the month. So that really isn't the most effective way to do it, because a lot of people and a lot of companies see that, but they see that at the end of the month you have maxed out, let's say, your $1,000 credit card and used it for the whole month, and at the end of the month they see the bill of $1,000. So they see that the credit utilization is 100%, and then you pay it off, but that is reset every month. So the best way to do it is break it down into 2 payments. Try to pay off as much as possible the first payment, and then kill off the rest of the debt with the next payment. That is the best option that I've seen. So I hope these couple methods, these ideas, these breakdowns of what credit score actually is, what goes into it, and these little tips on how to increase your credit score really is helpful for you guys, and hopefully you got at least one thing that is useful that you didn't know beforehand. That's always a goal. And hopefully you guys can please like this video, comment and subscribe. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm into getting new views, reaching new audiences as a brand new channel. And share this if possible, with people you don't know. And if you have any new video ideas that I can work on that you want talked about, please let me know in the comment section below. Thank you.